Welcome back to the fourth round. The previous video I incorrectly stated that it was round 2, but the last video was round 3. And this is round 4 of the skirmish during the first season of Silver Age here in Jyväskylä. This game is not the top tables here, so we will see something a bit different. Kayo versus Pleiades.
I'm just trying to think who is current team's top 4. So, who wins? Neither of them have to win. I have to win. So, the top 4 is locked.
Kayo is a brute with a very practical ability of giving +1 to attacks that are not on the combat chain. For example, if Kayo discards a card that says it has 5 power, it will be counted as though it has 6 power. So Kayo has access to very, very reliable usage of cards like Wild Ride that draw a card and discard a random card, and if the card has 6 or more, Wild Ride gets go again. Kayo therefore is able to play several powerful go again attacks, and also attacks that get bonus power from drawing and discarding. It is a very powerful hero in Silver Age at the moment, being able to consistently send big attacks every turn, and also having a powerful suit of armor to keep the enemies at bay. Pleiades is a guardian, a revered guardian, that has an ability that interacts with auras of suspense. Auras of suspense enter the arena with 2 suspense counters on them, and at the start of each turn, you remove one. At the start of your turn, you remove a counter from the aura, and when it has no counters, it is destroyed. Pleiades' ability reads, as an instant, you can tap Pleiades to remove a suspense counter from an aura of suspense you control, and put a suspense counter on an aura of suspense you control. And whenever the crowd cheers you, Pleiades gets a confidence token, which is a token that provides evasiveness to an attack action card. Equipment-wise, we see Knucklehead, a Temper 2 equipment for KO, Guardwell 2 equipment on the chest there, Blade Beckoner gauntlets, and Beaten Trackers, a Battleworn 1 equipment that also has the ability to grant go again, or an action point rather. On Pleiades' side of things, we see Helm of the Adored, a Blade Break 1 equipment that will cheer when it defends to create a confidence token for Pleiades. Guardwell 2 on the chest there, Blade Beckoner gauntlets, and Craterhoof, a Battleworn 1 equipment. So on the first turn we see Cheers, which cheers and makes a confidence, and Snatch coming in for 4. And when it hits, draw a card. So this is not a very typical Guardian card, one could say. I should perhaps note that I am the player playing Pleiades here. So I'll try not to let my personal involvement cloud my commentary. So Snatch is coming in, potentially drawing a card that could be put in the arsenal. Pleiades plays suspense auras, and they are all instants, which means that they could be played at any time, even though there are no more action points. It is defended, but Razor Reflex buffs it over, so it's 7. Well, when it hits, draw a card, and the attack gains go again. this razor reflex effect. So it gets some damage through and a card is drawn. Now the question is to arsenal the last card or do something else. It is a 0 cost attack. Pleiades swings the hammer, which is blocked by 2 cards. So on the first turn there we have set up a confidence token and gotten a little bit of damage through. But now the turn goes back to Kayo with a full grip of cards. Buckwild comes in for 7 go again, thanks to Kayo's ability, making that 5 power blue count as though it has 6 power, which turns on Buckwild's go again. Pleiades has a few blue cards in hand at least. I believe I saw a razor reflex there as well. And a suspense aura. There doesn't look to be any 0 cost attack or 1 cost attack the razor reflex could target here in this hand. Pleiades has no blocks. 7 damage. And here we have Bear Hug, which is attacking for 5. The shield blocks for 2, 3 damage comes through. Already Pleiades is down to 10 life. Decided to keep a full grip of cards. The Cheers destroys itself, creating a confidence, and the confidence destroys itself, giving an evasive effect to the next attack. And there is a hammer coming through for 4, but the confidence does not affect the hammer at all. 2 damage comes through past the Blade Beckoner Gauntlets. And here we see an aura deployed at instant speed, a suspense aura that gives +5 when it leaves to the next attack. The razor reflex is parked in arsenal. Here we see the Wild Ride that was mentioned earlier. A random discard here will decide if Wild Ride gets go again. Conventionally, every single card in the deck will... Well, that qualifies. It has 6 power on its own. Thanks to Chaos ability, the Might token is created here. The attack is for 6. Go again. We see another Snatch on Pleiades. In Pleiades' hand there. Looking at the Razor Reflex, of course a potent combination with Snatch. Thump blocks for 3. 3 damage goes through. Mandible Claw comes in for 3 go again, owing to the fact that a card with 6 or more has been discarded this turn. Blade Beckoner Gauntlet blocks 2. 1 damage comes through. Chest piece is broken to send an attack for 6. With a discount from the chest piece. So here KO missed out on the block value of the chest piece, but nevertheless is able to send a 15 total damage this turn. 3 damage comes through from the equipment blocks. To start, one suspense counter is taken from the what happens next comes into play, which gives a discount to the first card that costs anything that you play each turn. Considering activating Pleiades here, presumably to remove a counter from one suspense aura and give one to the other. Instead opting to play Snatch. With confidence, this is a bit tricky to block. It can only be blocked, or it cannot be blocked by more than 2 non-block cards. So typically it just means it cannot be blocked by more than 2 cards, since block cards are not always very numerous, and that also applies to equipment. Kayo wants to hold cards here and decides to just block with some equipment, having a comfortable life total buffer. And we see Razor Reflex played from Arsenal, which is free thanks to what happens next. And the suspense is killing me another suspense aura, which gives +1 to the first attack each turn. So that pumps the attack up to a total of 8. It draws a card and gets go again. And then the follow-up is a hammer for 4. Block for 3 is declared and 1 damage comes through. Kayo now has used most of their equipment blocks, and a 3-card hand will hopefully be enough to push through a little amount of damage. So here we see Bare Fangs. If it is Beaten Trackers is destroyed here. When a card is discarded at random, it can be destroyed to give an action point. So this is effectively 8 with a go again. But yes, 8 and a spare action point. A Might is created with 1 resource left over. We could expect a weapon attack follow-up from this. Or there is a potential for Run Roughshod, which is a 1-cost 5 attack that can only be played if you have discarded a card with 6 or more this turn. Pleiades is at 3 life and will of course have to block this attack for 8 in order to not die. Only 2 blocks left on the equipment. Boots and the helmet. Looks like 2 cards will be committed to the blocks here. It's blocked for 6. 2 damage coming through. Oh, but a Slap Happy prevents those 2 damages, creating a Vigor token. The follow-up is indeed Mandible Claw for 3, still a lethal attack. Equipment could be used here to survive just barely. That is indeed what we see here. 2 damage goes through. Pleiades is down to 1. Start of the turn, the Vigor creates a resource, and each suspense counter loses a counter. Edge of their seats grants the next attack +5. We Wrecking Ball gets +1 from itself. 5 from there. It will, yes, it's coming for 10. And has a crush effect that can destroy a card in the arsenal. But there is no such thing here, so the crush effect is not relevant. No more cards, so no surprises here. Kayo is then free to potentially just block with Knucklehead, go down to 1, or give some amount of cards if there are some cards in the hand that aren't of use at the moment. Had this attack had a relevant on-hit or a crush effect, would perhaps make a difference. So, yeah. Just blocked for 4, so 6 damage comes through. And Kayo gets to keep 3 cards. So now we will see. The Might token gives +1, and the first up is Wild Ride. After a random discard, we can expect it to get Go again. That is indeed the case. So here we see 7 Go again. An uncomfortable breakpoint, but the equipment is available to cover that for 7. Next up there is Mandible Claw. Pummel is pitched to pay for the Mandible Claw. That is blocked for 3. Confidence token is created. At the end of Chaos turn, Pleiades is activated to move a counter from what happens next to the Suspensive Killing Me. Yeah, goes down to 1 counter. Short Shrift is simply attacking for 5 here, with a crush effect that is no longer relevant since Kayo is at 4 life. The crush effect is that the defending hero must discard a card. It's blocked for 3, or maybe 5. Fully blocked. Kayo returns with an attack for 8, with no Go again here, but that will presumably demand 3 cards from Pleiades. We see a Oasis Respite there, which could gain some life, potentially. There's also a Slap Happy, a 2 block and a 3 block. Interesting interaction here is that what happens next will make Oasis Respite free. So it could be used as a way to play the Oasis Respite. We see a block for 3 here. And indeed we see what happens next being played. And then Oasis Respite played for free, which gains a life and prevents 4. So then 1 damage comes through past the blocks and the prevention, and sending Pleiades back down to 1 life. Pleiades decides to take a look at the graveyard to see what options remain in this game. And decides to move a counter onto what happens next to keep that one around for longer. At the start of the turn, it ticks down to 2 counters, and the last card is placed in Arsenal. A Slap Happy that we saw, which can be used to prevent some damage. So here we see an attack. We see an attack for, this is a yellow test of, no, clash of might. It's only attacking for 5. There's a blue Buckwild in the pitch zone, and 2 cards remaining in hand. Perhaps sending a signal that this hand might have been deployed otherwise to send a Buckwild with go again. With Pleiades is at 1 life. A blue Buckwild is still a respectable attack. And in reactions we see a pummel. Slap Happy is committed, but that is not enough to cover the 9 damage coming through. It would have been possible to play around pummel there with some more cards. And yes, well, there you see me going through my deck looking for my staunch responses. Well, they were later in the deck, but nevertheless, sometimes that's how it is. You have to play with the cards you are dealt. Thank you for watching this game. See you in the next one.